5 shocking facts about Native American women you've never heard before. When you think about Native American history, what do you see? Warriors on horseback? Peace pipes and powwows? Maybe ancient earth lodges or the Trail of Tears? But here's a perspective you might not have considered: Native American women, the unsung heroes, the heart and soul of their communities, and the bearers of culture, language, art, and leadership. For centuries, their stories have been pushed to the margins, overshadowed by colonization, rewritten by outsiders, or simply ignored. But if you look closer, you'll uncover a history that is rich, complex, and deeply empowering. Today, we're diving into 5 fascinating facts about Native American women you probably didn't know. These facts may surprise you, challenge what you thought you knew, and hopefully inspire you to learn more about the original matriarchs of North America. Let's begin with a truth that has long been hidden beneath the surface. Fact number 1: Native American women were warriors and protectors. Contrary to popular belief, Native American women weren't confined to passive or domestic roles. In fact, many were warriors, hunters, and fierce protectors of their people. In many tribal societies, gender roles were fluid and based on ability, not rigid definitions. If a woman demonstrated courage, skill, or leadership, she could become a warrior, and many did. Take, for example, Buffalo Calf Road Woman, a northern Cheyenne warrior whose story was nearly lost to time. She fought bravely in the Battle of the Rosebud in 1876, where she is credited with rescuing her brother, inspiring the Cheyenne to push back against General Crook's forces. Just a week later, she joined her people in the legendary Battle of the Little Bighorn, fighting alongside men in what would become a historic Indigenous victory. And she wasn't alone. Among the Apache, women like Lozan, the sister of warrior Chief Victorio, were not only warriors but also revered as spiritual leaders. Lozan was said to possess the power to sense the enemy's location and direction, a gift she used in countless battles against U.S. and Mexican forces. She was described as strong, cunning, and utterly fearless. In many Plains tribes, women were trained to use bows, spears, and even firearms. They hunted buffalo, led raids, and defended their homes with the same determination and skill as their male counterparts. These weren't isolated exceptions. In dozens of indigenous nations, women's roles in warfare and survival were understood, respected, and honored. These stories remind us that the stereotype of the passive Native woman is not only wrong, it erases centuries of bravery and strength. Native American women have always been defenders of land, of people, and of culture. Fact number 2: They preserved languages through generations. Languages are more than words, they carry the heartbeat of a culture, the wisdom of ancestors, and the unique way a people see the world. For many Native American communities, language preservation has been a fight for survival, and it's a fight that has largely been led by women. As the primary caregivers and storytellers, Native women were, and still are, responsible for transmitting their ancestral languages to their children. From lullabies sung over cradleboards to bedtime stories told around firelight, language was passed not through textbooks but through love, ritual, and daily life. Consider this: when boarding schools were established in the 19th and 20th centuries, one of their primary missions was to forcibly assimilate Native children, punishing them for speaking their languages. Despite this, countless mothers and grandmothers continued to speak their mother tongues at home, keeping their languages alive in secret, often at great personal risk. In many tribes, women held the role of oral historians, keepers of sacred songs, creation stories, and ceremonial chants. They understood that without language, memory fades, and culture vanishes. Today, we see a powerful resurgence of language revitalization, and once again, women are leading the charge. In the Cherokee Nation, for example, language immersion schools are being established, and women educators and elders are at the forefront. In Alaska, Athabascan, Yupik, and Inupiaq women are recording endangered dialects, teaching through digital platforms, and preserving lexicons that could have vanished within a generation. And for many young Native women today, learning their ancestral language is a revolutionary act, an act of reclaiming identity, healing generational trauma, and honoring their foremothers. So, the next time you hear a native word spoken, remember that it likely survived because a woman whispered it, sang it, and refused to let it die. Fact number 3, women were the heart of matrilineal and matrilocal societies. In many Native American cultures, the lineage wasn't passed through the father, it was passed through the mother. These societies are called matrilineal, and they offer a radically different view of family and power compared to the patriarchal systems we're used to today. In tribes like the Hopi, Iroquois, and Cherokee, matrilineal customs were the foundation of community life. Property, clan identity, and even political status were inherited through the mother's line. That meant when a child was born, they didn't belong to their father's clan, they belonged to their mother's. The maternal uncle, not the father, often played a central role in mentoring young boys, while mothers and grandmothers wielded influence over decisions regarding marriage, land, and leadership. But it wasn't just about inheritance. These cultures were often matrilocal too. Meaning that after marriage, husbands moved in with the wife's family, not the other way around. This flipped many Western ideas of gender roles on their head. Women were not subordinate, they were anchors of continuity, identity, and social cohesion. The Iroquois Confederacy, in particular, offers a stunning example. The women of the Haudenosaunee, Iroquois, were the clan mothers who held the power to appoint or remove male chiefs, oversee land rights, and guide their communities with deep wisdom. European settlers, when first encountering this, were shocked by the political and social status of indigenous women, some even feared it, calling it unnatural. But to native people, it was entirely natural. In the Hopi tradition, the home belonged to the women. Fields, household goods, even religious objects, these were all under the stewardship of women. Men joined the women's households, and community decisions often required the approval of elder women. Even today, in many modern Native communities, these matrilineal and matrilocal traditions endure, providing a framework where women's voices matter, not just in theory, but in everyday practice. This central role in family and community life has ensured the survival of countless traditions, beliefs, and values through generations of upheaval and change. Fact number 4, Native American women were renowned artists and cultural creators. Art isn't just decoration, it's memory, identity, survival. For Native American cultures, art has always been deeply woven into everyday life. And at the center of that creative legacy are women, generations of them, whose hands shaped clay, wove grasses, sewed beads, and told entire histories without ever writing a word. In many tribes, women were the primary creators of traditional art forms, and their work was far more than functional, it was sacred. Take pottery, for example. In the Southwest, Pueblo women were, and still are, renowned for their exquisite pottery, which combines utility with symbolic design. The techniques used by Hopi, Zuni, and Acoma women are passed down through families over centuries. Each pattern, each form, holds specific cultural meaning. Some represent rainfall, others the sun, spirits, or ancestors. These weren't just storage jars, they were spiritual vessels. Then there's basketry, an art form that may seem simple to outsiders but is incredibly complex. Women in California tribes like the Pomo and the Yokuts, or the Apache in the Southwest, created baskets so finely made they could hold water, sift flour, or be worn ceremonially. The designs wove stories, literal visual narratives, about the seasons, migrations, and tribal myths. Beadwork, especially after the introduction of glass beads from European trade, became another arena of mastery. Women from the Lakota, Ojibwe, and Crow nations used beads to decorate clothing, moccasins, cradleboards, and ceremonial regalia with vibrant designs representing their personal identity, family lineage, and tribal affiliation. And let's not forget textile arts, especially Navajo weaving, arguably one of the most recognized native art forms in the world. While today many Navajo men weave, the tradition began and was dominated by women. Navajo rugs and blankets are prized not only for their beauty but also for the sacred knowledge encoded within their patterns. What's remarkable is that these art forms weren't just hobbies, they were integral to the spiritual, economic, and cultural health of the tribe. Women's artistry was a means of communication with the divine, a way to tell stories, honor ancestors, and express resistance to colonial suppression. In some communities, the act of weaving, beading, or pottery making is considered a ceremony in itself. Hands moving in rhythm with ancestors. Patterns recalling landscapes long occupied. Symbols reactivating memory in every stitch. Even today, Native women continue to innovate within tradition. Contemporary indigenous artists like Terry Greaves, Kiowa, Jamie O'Cumar, Luisino/Shoshone-Bannock, and Anita Fields, Osage/Muskogee, are gaining global recognition, bringing Native aesthetics to new forms, fashion, sculpture, and digital media, while staying deeply rooted in ancestral wisdom. So when we admire Native art, we're not just looking at decoration, we're witnessing Gen. Fact number 5. Native American women held significant political influence and leadership roles. If history had been written more truthfully, we'd know that political power in Native American societies wasn't reserved for men. In fact, in many indigenous nations, women played central roles in governance and diplomacy. Far from the myth of the submissive squaw, Native women were council members, advisors, peacemakers, and, at times, chiefs. Let's look at the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, often known by the colonial name Iroquois. Their political system, which predates the U.S. Constitution by centuries, is one of the most sophisticated democratic models in the world. At the heart of this system were the clan mothers, matriarchs with real, institutional power. These women weren't symbolic figureheads. They had the authority to select male chiefs, guide policy, and remove leaders who failed to serve the people honorably. Before a new law could be enacted, it had to pass through their approval. This wasn't just a tradition, it was law. The colonists who first encountered this system were astounded, and threatened. Here were women with formalized, legitimate political authority, something unheard of in Europe at the time. Some scholars even argue that the American suffragists drew inspiration from these very indigenous models, as leaders like Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton visited Haudenosaunee communities and saw women exercising autonomy and respect. Across Turtle Island, similar dynamics appeared. In the Muskogee, Creek, Nation, women known as beloved women held ceremonial and diplomatic influence. Among the Cherokee, the most honored title a woman could hold was Gigo, or War Woman. Women with this title participated in tribal councils and had the right to speak and decide on issues of war and peace. One such woman was Nancy Ward, a Cherokee Gigo in the 18th century. After fighting alongside her husband in battle and showing exceptional bravery, she was appointed to the council. She later used her influence to negotiate peace treaties and advocate for cooperation between native and settler communities, while never losing sight of the sovereignty and dignity of her people. The truth is, leadership among native women was not exceptional, it was expected. The idea of shared authority, mutual respect between genders, and responsibility to the community was embedded into tribal structures. Today, Native American women continue that legacy. They serve as tribal chairs, judges, activists, and lawmakers. Names like Deb Haaland, Laguna Pueblo, the first Native American cabinet secretary in U.S. history, prove that the tradition of indigenous female leadership is alive and well. It never disappeared. It was always there, just waiting to be acknowledged. So there you have it, 5 powerful facts about Native American women that rewrite the story you thought you knew. From warriors and language keepers to artists, matriarchs, and political leaders, indigenous women have shaped history, not from the sidelines, but from the center. Their strength wasn't forged in spite of their identity, it was rooted in it. And while colonization tried to erase, suppress, and silence them, their voices endure in every woven basket, every passed-down story, every decision made with community in mind. These women are not forgotten, they are remembered in the resilience of their descendants, in the revival of their languages, in the bold art of a new generation, and in every act of resistance that begins with love for the land and the people. But here's the thing, their stories aren't just the past, they're the present and the future. So, the next time you hear about Native history, ask yourself, where are the women in this story? What were they creating, preserving, defending, and leading? And when you find them, because you will, listen closely. They've been speaking all along. If this video gave you a new perspective, do us a favor, like, comment, and share to help spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge the mainstream and celebrate the often overlooked heroes of history. Until next time, stay curious, stay respectful, and keep uncovering the truths that deserve to be told.